I remember just a year ago, even I was saying to myself, man, I want to be here. I want to go there. I want to do this, do that. And then look at me now. I'm like, wow, we're actually doing it. And there's people behind, motivating me and join my team and galvanizing and get behind me, trying to really push it out and not just letting me or requiring me to do it by myself, but it's really like believing in me and taking on that that role and responsibility of just kind of making sure that I stay motivated. So it's a beautiful feeling, man.
I Yo, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So for all those crazy people out there who never heard of your boy who ain't tapped in, they don't know what's going on. Decatur, Georgia is in the building. Give us your name and tell us what you do in a couple of seconds.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Aric B, and I do nothing but R&B music from Decatur, Georgia. Let's go.
I like that. So let's go back to where it all started for you in Decatur, Georgia, with your moms, your pops, the dog, the cat, all of that. How did you fall in love with music?
Yes, sir, man. So speaking of Decatur, Georgia, I grew up in Metro Atlanta, so I was all over, but I was born and raised in Decatur. And I actually grew up singing in church. My grandfather is still the pastor of the church that I grew up singing in. So I grew up singing gospel music. I grew up with influences like Aretha Franklin, Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, all of these folks that came out of the church. And I realized that there was something different about those particular individuals because they somehow found a way to transition into doing R&B popular music. And so I was like, well, it's got to be a little bit more to this than just singing in church on Sundays. I mean, that's where you get your chops, right? Like a lot of the best musicians come from church. But I was like, there's got to be something more to this. And then I started to hear the sounds of Erica Badu and Musiq Soulchild and Jill Scott. And like I got into this neo soul wave that was taking me somewhere else. And I was like, yo, what is this? I don't know what this is, but I love it. Start, dipping off in that Philly zone. And I was just like, okay, like, so what is this? What am I going to get into? And then I got more into like the Underdogs and Tank and Tyrese and Eric Dawkins and all of these great, incredible songwriters and vocalists. And they just sent me, after I tapped into that sent me, all the way out. So ever since then, I've been in love with R&B. There was days I remember I would come from school and my parents would just let me chill out in the basement and do my homework. But I wouldn't be down there doing homework. I'd be down there listening to R&B music and just watching videos all night, just like dreaming one day, hoping I'll be able to do it. So I would say probably around the age of 13 when I first started recording music, that's when I fell in love with R&B.
I like that, I like that, I like that. So let me ask you this, because you were singing in the choir. What's up? What was the first age? Was that at 13 or was it before 13? Your moms and your dad maybe had you in the choir starting to sing.
Yeah, no, so that was 5. So I started singing at 5 and I was playing like little instruments. I was playing drums back then. I was just kind of like experimenting with a lot of different instruments and like and also the voice. But around 5 is when I discovered that I could actually sing a little bit. And my first songs were His Eyes on the Sparrow from the Sister Act 2, Lauryn Hill. Her version of that song was like, and my voice was kind of like higher at that time, so I could hit some of those notes. And I used to just love hearing that song come on the radio. And anytime it did come on, I was singing it. So yeah, those were the first memories of singing.
So let me ask you this. What's up? Any of your siblings, do they got the voice like a Aric B, like you, like your grandfather, your mother, your father? Who else has the voice other than your grandfather in your family?
Yeah. So yeah, my biological dad can sing. My sister can sing. My mom can actually sing. She won't sing, but she can sing. I got aunts on both sides they murder. They can destroy any house. Like they step into anybody's occasion, banquet, whatever function, they'll get up and just tear it down. So I come from a long line. My uncles can sing. Yeah, I come from a line of singers for sure.
Okay, I like that, I like that, I like that. So let me ask you this. even though you come from a long list of singers, just because you can sing don't mean you could write a song. What's up with that? When did you start writing? Was that a gift too at the time at 13 years old in the church with grandpa? What's up? Was that a gift too at that age?
So no, I the voice came first, and then I had to kind of work my way into songwriting. Man, I remember. So I always wanted to write songs. That was the thing. I always wanted to, but never could quite get it, especially around that time. So I'm recording different songs around. Started recording at 13, and I remember writing some of my first songs, and they were just trash. They were really bad, and I hate to say that about my own art, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, it just wasn't good, man. It wasn't good. And I had no way of thinking about concepts. I had no way of song format. I had no real, you know, way to compile a song. I had no structure. I was just writing lyrics and just kind of really teasing out melodies. Honestly, it was just about hearing a word and figuring out how I wanted to say it, but not conceptually any like format to an actual song. And there were songs that were better than others, but those songs were not. They weren't even good. And it's funny, I still remember some of those songs too. My memory is okay in that way. I still remember where I was writing some of those songs, and but also as I'm writing those songs, I'm remembering how I was feeling. I'm like, one day I'm gonna make it. One day I'm gonna get. One day somebody's gonna hear my music. One day somebody's gonna believe that I actually can do this. So, but yeah, no, those songs were bad. I didn't really develop for real into the songwriter that I am now until maybe even about 5 or so years ago. I got to sit down with some really, really dope songwriter producers who like won Grammys and stuff like that. And they were like, hey, listen, okay, I hear you trying this. How about you do this? Take this structure, take this template, and fit your songs in this. Figure out the way that you want. Make sure that you've thought through everything. Make sure the words connect. Make sure the story makes sense, right? Build out a narrative. Make people think. Take them through roller coasters of emotions, and be intentional with the lyrics. Don't just write stuff. Because see, I was impressed with with this around this time. Alternative R&B was like a really really big thing. So Miguel, somebody like Miguel would like kick off this wave of sounds, right? And he used to. It just sounded like he had this really really cool wavy. Frank Ocean used to do this too. They had this really cool kind of like smooth way of tapping into like these different sounds, and it sounded like they were freestyling a little bit. Like in a way, if you listen to some of their music, they sounded like they were just kind of like grabbing stuff out of air. But I mean, it was still really good. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I can do that because I can sing. Like I can sing, so I'm gonna just freestyle and make it sound good. But nah, that wasn't it. So realizing that and chopping it up with those producers, man, they was just like, let me just give you a little pointer. Be a little bit more intentional with your words. I didn't want to hear that, but it
Right.
definitely helped me. So yeah, that's kind of how I developed into a songwriter.
So let me ask you this: as a songwriter, what was Aric B's first hit to yourself? Maybe it wasn't a hit for somebody else, but to you, what was your first hit that you wrote?
So before I started doing R&B, I was doing Christian R&B,
Okay.
and with that, the Christian R&B that I was doing was a part of this group called 3G. So we came out of this church that we were all going to. It was me and two other guys. They were rappers, and I was singing on the hooks or whatever, and writing those hooks too. That whole project was a hit project to me because number one, everybody we played it for loved it. They was like, "Oh, this is dope. This is crazy. Like y'all sound good. Y'all need to go on tour." They hyping us up. They giving us all the love.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, this is a hit project. Like we need to get this out. Why that didn't continue, honestly, I ended up going to college and I didn't put any more energy into it. But that project. We'll never forget. The group was called 3G. Name, the group was called 3G, and it was, it made sense at the time. And the record was called We in the Building. So it was the whole theme about it was like, we've entered the building. We making a name for ourselves. We're new in the game. Let's kick it off. So that was cool and fun, but the project was great, man. We had a dope producer, mixing engineer. He did it all for us, and it was my first time really, really stepping into my own like writing and artistry. I still listen to some of those records, and I'm like, oh, okay, I could have changed this. I could have done this better, whatever, whatever. But at the time, it was good. So I say that was my first hit.
All right, all right. I like that. I like that. I like that. Yo, if you are just tuning in, you are tuned in to the Pimp Game Podcast, where we highlight positive, intelligent, motivated people each and every single week. And this week we got a special one. That's right, Mr. Hidden Gem, Mr. Decatur, Georgia, Aric B, R&B Station, doing it big right here on the Pimp Game Podcast. So let me ask you this. You've worked with some well-renowned producers in the industry. What's up with that? What was your first aha moment for you? Like, wow, I'm really working with this producer. What was that first aha moment for Aric B?
Yeah, so this particular producer that actually coached me through songwriting, he had pretty much taken me under like some mentorship wings, and I got to learn a lot from him. We still, still keep in contact to this day. He was involved. He basically he was executive producer for Kehlani and her and some Alicia Keys records from back in the day, and really just like heavily involved in that. And we were working together. We were, we were shopping records or whatever. He had taken investment in me as a songwriter. He had, seen me progress and was like, okay. So he threw me a track one time, and it just kind of it kind of threw me off. And I got to tell you this story because it's one of those like lessons, not like a success. So he threw me this record. He threw me this beat basically, and was like, okay, I need to see like, can you write something to this? And I was like, yeah, I got you. It was a cool record. It was a sample of all this love is waiting for you. You know that the bar song. So it was a nice little sample of that. He threw the record, he threw me the beat or whatever. He's like, I got a couple writers that's working on this. I'm trying to test out and see who got the best record. And I was like, okay,
Nice,
cool.
right.
I'm like, let me boss up a little bit. I'm about to give you, show you what I could do. And he was like, okay, cool. He was like, write it. He was like, it's for Mary. And I was like, Mary, like, it's not like Mary. He was like, Mary J. Blige. And I was like, oh, 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 okay. I was like, so you think I can do it? He's like, yeah. It's like, try it out. See what you got. And I was like, yo, this is for Mary. That's great. Like I'm in my head, I'm tripping. I am losing. I'm like, yo, this is Mary. This is Let's Get It Crunk. Like I'm going through all of the songs. No More Drama. I'm going through the albums. I'm listening. I'm just going back. And so I basically went into the lab. I went in the lab for this song. I listened to every Mary song I could think of. I went back albums on albums. I was digging through crates, listening to like interviews and podcasts, trying to get content from her, trying to like see where she's at. I'm asking him questions like, yo, how does she feel right now? Is she cool? Like, some days she be on her like her I don't care no more, but other days she be hurt and not want to talk about it and like in her feelings. So I was like, some days she happy and she on positivity, grown woman. Like, what is it? He was like, oh, she ain't really feeling it because she had just had that divorce. So he was like, she ain't really like in a happy mood. She just kind of like on her whatever, just give her something good. So man, I went in, I wrote this little song. I never forget. It's called I'm Good. It was like, I'm good, good. It was it ain't really, it was whatever. But I know what happened. I was too excited. I got way too excited about this record. And I was just like, man, it's for Mary. I gotta nail this. Man, my harmonies was like kind of like all over the place. I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I was thinking too much. I was trying not to overdo it, but trying to make it too Mary. But I didn't really lean into it enough in my own and listen to myself to kind of make the record. I was trying to appeal too much to her. And that was a lesson for me. It was like, whenever you get a song or you get a request or you get a commission to write something, don't overthink yourself out of the opportunity, right? Like take it as it is. If they like the song, they like the song. If they don't, they don't. But write from a true place, write from what you hear, and don't try to appeal. Because also the other thing is, if Mary says she liked it, but she didn't like the song, and there's another artist that come up that could do way better with that song, me focusing on Mary, I would have missed out on the opportunity because I could have written a song that was, good enough for somebody who wasn't. Like if K. Michelle was like, okay, Mary didn't want that song, but I want it, right? Like if I had tailored it too much to Mary, I could have, missed out on the opportunity if somebody else wanted the record. So it just opened my brain, in my imagination to think about what other avenues and ways and how this music game can actually work out for your benefit if you allow it to.
So let me ask you this: how hard is that to write a song like without knowing that you're writing for someone that's of a a stature of a Mary J. Blige, K. Michelle, something like that. How tough is that to write from that standpoint and to know that you're actually writing for them? How tough is that to write a song in that capacity?
So it's crazy. I heard I was watching a podcast, the R&B Money podcast, and James Fauntleroy was on there talking about how sometimes he'll write a song and tailor it for a specific person, and the person will hear the song and they'll be like, "Oh, that's cool," and then James will go and play stuff that he wrote for himself, and then they'll be like, "No, no, no,
Mhm.
what's that? I want that." And that really
Mm,
stuck to me, and it made me think, because it's like the artist doesn't want what you would write for them; they want what you write for yourself. And so now
mm,
thinking about it, I'm like, well, just write what you would write for yourself, and let that appeal, let that honesty, let that vulnerability come through in the songs you write for yourself. And that's the song. That's because that's what they're coming to you, because they want you. They don't want what you want them to sound like. They want to tap into the energy you're on. So I think it's just important to be as creatively authentic as you can when it comes to writing music for other artists, other folks, producers. Pull from the place that you would pull if it was a song for yourself, because that's when the best art comes out.
that is interesting. I never thought about that myself, to be honest. When you're writing for yourself, you do write the best. I would
Yeah,
say, versus you having to think about Aric B's voice, John B's voice, Mary J. Blige's voice. That does make sense to write. You'll write much better writing for yourself because you're
yeah,
not gonna let yourself down. That's just what it is. That's just what
e-
it is. All right. So
exactly.
the name Aric B, I like that. It got a little flavor to it. It's all that and a bag of chips. What's up? How did you come
I
up with the
appreciate it.
name Aric B?
Yeah. So my real name is Aric B Fleming. That's my
Mm,
whole name. Bernard is my middle name. That's where the B comes from. I am a second generation Aric B. My dad's name was Aric B Fleming. And so I never forget, I was in the gym one time. I had a brother of mine, an older brother, my god brother, who used to actually train me. We used to work out together. And I wasn't on my music wave super heavy at the time, but he knew me, and he knew I was doing music. And he was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "Man, I can't wait for you to just lock away one day and you get in your bag." He was like, "I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy, bro, because you got it." And I was like, "Oh, you think so, for real?" He was like, "Bro, I'm telling you, bro. You just get that opportunity to lock away." He was like, "You're gonna do it." And I was like, "All right." He was like, "Cool." He was like, "Man, I can't wait." He was like, "And your name, it gotta be R&B." He was like, "That's it." He was like, "I love that." He was like, "It's so simple. It's so, it's good enough, and it's your name. It's literally it's your name." And I was like, "That's true," because I was, trying to find all these other names. I used to go by Bernard. That was one of my names. I had R, as in, like, because I knew people couldn't pronounce my name, so I knew I had R. Rick, trying to give people a way to pronounce my name. It was just a
right.
whole lot of different ways I was going around about it. He was like, "Nah, bro, you just gotta just R&B. That's it. You good." And so ever since then, after I got over all the other names, I landed on that one name, and I was just like, okay. And one day, believe it or not, I knew it was supposed to be my name later on, though. It didn't click to me after deciding I was gonna go with this name.
Mhm.
But one day I was performing at this local spot in Boston where I live, called Grace by Nia. Shout out Grace by Nia. Nice lounge, fantastic venue, crazy musicians, crazy sounds, super dope spot. I was doing an open mic. I was kind of really new to the scene, and I was up doing an open mic, and they had said, "What's your name? Where you from?" And I said, "My name is Aric B or whatever." Da, da, da. And this was like my second time doing an open mic, and so everybody's
Mhm.
like, "Okay, what's his name? What's his name?" "Oh, it's the guy he sang last week or whatever. You can come up." Cool. So my name is Aric B, and the saxophone player, actually, it's crazy. I think his name is Gary, but I don't think that's his name correct, so I won't say it. But he was standing next to me, and he heard me say R&B, and he was like, "Oh," he was like, "I get it, like R&B." And that just, I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Dang, my name actually does rhyme with the genre." It ain't never clicked to me like that. But wow, how appropriate. I was like, "That's why that's my name." So ever since then, I was like, "Oh, okay, we doing the right thing. This is where we're supposed to be. This is literally what we're supposed to be doing." That's when it made sense to me that that's what I'm supposed to be.
All right. I like that. I like that. I like that. So I heard your voice a little bit. What's up? Who do you compare yourself to, or who do people say you sound like? Because you are nice with it. And I say that humbly, but you are really nice with it. Who do you compare your voice to now in the industry?
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate the compliment, man. So I have a big three. My big three is John Legend, Tank, and Musiq Soulchild, and all three of them are a combination of my vocal interests. So on some records, depend if it's more kind of like real kind of like that new wave R&B with the tune and like all of that, you know, like more on that Chris Brown wave, like that sound is gonna sound much more like Tank. I guess it's just like how I vocally approach music that way. It's gonna sound much more like Tank when I'm in that wave of my register. If I'm singing a very soulful like ballad and I'm just going for it and my heavy raspy tone is in it and it's like kind of like real heavy gospel influences, it's gonna sound like John Legend. It's very like very heavy gospel, you know, belty, just huge. It's not a super high chest voice, but it is a, you know, it's very heavy and full sound. The only thing is I just don't play keys. So if I did play keys, that would be a direct comparison. But and then if I'm singing like anything neo soul, anything on that, like if I'm singing any D'Angelo, anything like Carl Thomas or Musiq Soulchild, is gonna sound a lot like Musiq Soulchild because that's who I patterned a lot of those sounds after. So those are my big three.
Okay, so let me ask you this: in terms of Tank, John B, Chris Brown, these moguls in the game, when you're singing a song, what's most comfortable for Aric B? What do you like? You like giving the Tank vibe? You like giving the John B vibe? A little bit of Chris Brown residuals? What's up? What do you like doing the best?
Yeah, so I'll say I got a few hit covers. My main cover with a live band, my go-to immediately is Half Crazy by Musiq Soulchild. And that's just because I figured out the best way to make that work for myself. Love Half Crazy. If I'm doing a Tank song or a Tank rendition, I've done this a couple times too for like some auditions and stuff. I love I Can't Make You Love Me. That shows off my versatility a little bit. And then if I'm really just wanting to go for it, if I want to knock the room out and I know I got the support either from a track or from a good musician, I'm going for Change Gonna Come, Sam Cooke. And it's just going to tell you everything about who I am and where I come from with that song. So those are my three, I would say. And then of course, like I'll dabble into to residuals. Like I just performed Friday. I did residuals there. I did How Does It Feel? Now in my live show though, How Does It Feel is a moment because last Friday I had roses and it was Valentine's Day and I took them everywhere. I was all over the building. I just was passing out roses, singing How Does It Feel, going off. So if I got that opportunity to kind of move around, I might do some of that too. But yeah, man, we get busy. This is the other thing too. I gotta say, so I got a lot of chops this past year. There's a weddings and corporate events is a big industry in Boston because of Berklee College of Music, which is like here,
Right.
where a lot of musicians and they all come here. But the wedding industry is huge here, and these folks pay a lot of money for these bands. So I mean, they pay top dollar for these bands, and I joined, I auditioned, and I got into one of these bands, and we were basically like on a wedding tour for the entire summer. We were booked out every weekend from May until October, sometimes twice in a weekend to do these covers, and these were top 40 pop covers from the 60s on down to 2022. So I had to learn tons of music. My repertoire had to be crazy because I had to be able to command these songs at these weddings in order to make these shows work. And so that actually kind of also developed my show and my style, learning how to sing Prince. Like I grew up hearing Prince. I grew up, my dad used to play Michael Jackson and Prince all the time in the car, but I never was like about to pick up no Michael Jackson song and sing it or a Prince song, but I had to learn Prince. I had to learn Luther Vandross. I had to learn, Marvin Gaye. I had to learn Stevie Wonder. And these greats, right, really started to influence a lot of what I was doing in this very creative way. I was like, oh, this is why this works. And this is why they did this. And this is why. So it made much more sense for the music I've even just recently released.
So let me ask you this: when you got to learn Michael Jackson, you got to learn Prince, you got to learn Stevie Wonder, Ribbons in the Sky, things of that nature, does it challenge your voice extraordinarily. What's up? What does it do to your vocal cords? Does it challenge you even more?
Absolutely, man. It's those songs are classic for a reason, and people love that music for a reason. They aren't just great. I mean, now granted, they are the more commercial records that we have to learn top 40. They're more commercial than like the album cuts from back in the day. Like Stevie Wonder has a song, I Never Dreamed You Leave Me in Summer, which is like a hidden gem. It's like, but if you know that song, you know Stevie then, right? But those songs, man, learning those songs, it was definitely a stretch. You had to, first of all, I'm a baritone by nature. I don't sing tenor. That's you talking about Michael Jackson, Prince, and Stevie Wonder. All of them are high tenors. I don't sing that high. Like, why are you making me sing this? And my company did not want us to adjust the key. They didn't want us to move, so we had to sing. And I'm talking about we singing for 3 hours, and I got to get up and sing these songs. So that means because I have a head voice, which is pretty cool. I can kind of move a lot of notes. I had to figure out a way to maneuver through the limits of my chest voice all the way to like, being able to flip between my chest voice and my head voice in order to get these right notes out or augment the melody in order to make it make sense. Otherwise, it was going to sound bad. So yes, the challenge was crazy. It was really tough. Like, but once I figured out what I was going to do, and it also taught me how to think on my feet real quick, because sometimes you'll get comfortable in the song and you're just enjoying it and you'll forget that there's like this part you got to prepare for. So in order to make sure that I was getting, the job done, I had to think quickly enough ahead of time about, okay, this note's coming up. How am I going to do it? Cool. I'm going to hit it this way and I'm going to move out the way so I can get this done. Or if it's like a song and I'm tired, I'll pull a trick, like have the audience sing it for me, if it's like a super high, so it's just like different skills and like and practices that you adopt on the way in order to make it work.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Yo, if you are just joining us, we are live on the Pimp Game Podcast. We are like positive, intelligent, motivated people, and today we got a special one. That's right, Decatur, Georgia's finest. That's right, Mr. Aric B in the building, doing it right here on the Pimp Game Podcast. So let me ask you this. You have a album that just released not too long ago, Things Never Said. What's up with that? I like that. What does that mean? Tell us, what does that mean, Things Never Said? Because I love it.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you, bro. I this is my best work yet. Things Never Said. It is my first R&B album, and it is a storyline of heartbreak, love, pain, joy, gratitude, appreciation, hurts, regrets, just all of it. It takes you through just about every emotion you can probably feel in R&B. And when you listen to R&B music, it is also my ode, right, to early 2000s music, which is my favorite R&B era. I love that sound of R&B. So a lot of the sounds that you'll hear in the project kind of couples a little bit in a modern sense with early 2000s R&B. A lot of those influences and those sounds and the run choices and the language and even how I wrote some of the music, it mimics a lot of that early 2K R&B. But yeah, man, this is my new project. Things Never Said thematically though is me holding a mirror to myself, and really, which is why when you see the cover, I'm doing like this. So there's like it's me holding a mirror to myself and reflecting on what I've done well and what I haven't done so well, in terms of relating and being in love and that kind of thing. And also, it's a challenge to everybody else who hears the music to likewise hold a mirror to yourself and to reflect and to maybe come away with some ways that you can be better by thinking about what you might not have done so well at a certain period in your life.
Yo, this your boy Kenny D. Hey, I didn't mean to interrupt your show, but I just wanted to take a quick minute, just to let you guys know, if you want to see more dope interviews like this one, make sure you go on YouTube and check out Pimp Game Podcast. All right? And don't forget about our website, pimpgamepodcast.com, to see all your latest Pimp Game episodes. All right? We got you. Man, I'm done talking. Back to the show. All right, so let me ask you about Things Never Said. What's up? What's the hit song on the album? Give me 1 to 3, maybe your top 3 songs on the album that you have things never said.
Okay, my top three. Number one is a song called "Always You." Number
Mm.
two, number two is a song called "Kiss." Number three is a song called "Apology." Those are my
Mm.
three songs. Those are my top three, and I can't tell you why, but I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you dictate where we go with this.
All right, all right, all right. I like that, I like that, I like that. So, with that being said, can you give us a 30-second spotlight of give us some vocals right here, a cappella right now on the Pimp Game podcast of maybe one of the songs? Can we get something? 30-second spotlight for Aric B.
Yes, sir. So always you is the number one song. It's the one we pushing out. So I'm gonna sing it, and the lyrics are self-explanatory. So it goes like this: I saw you at the mall the other day, and memories came rushing back to me. But I was gone before you ever noticed. My heart was beating fast, and I didn't wanna speak. And I hate that you left me, or this would be us. I know I messed up and I betrayed your trust. So I say the truth and I swallow my pride. I won't let you go till you're back in my life. It's you. Oh. I still want you. I toss and turn cause I can't sleep at night. Deep down inside, I know it's always you.
I like that. I like that. Okay. Right here on the Pimp Game Podcast, Aric B. Giving it to us. I like that. So, what's up? What's behind that song? What made you write it? Did you go through an experience? Because I'm over here smiling like I'm a groupie or something. What's up? What is behind that song? What made you write that song?
Man, so I held on to this song from a feeling in high school, believe it or not. It's a long time. I was in high school, what, 15, almost 20 years, 15 years ago. And what had happened was I was in this situationship, right? Dealing with a little, little song. And
Right.
but we couldn't be together. That's the thing. It was like it was just something about us not being able to be together. And but we broke it off. Well, I most so broke it off in good conscience. Not anything like, it wasn't anything like toxic or, bad. But it was challenging to get over. Anyway, distance kind of had to keep us separated. And you know, after not
Mm-hmm.
being in the same space for a while, ran into I was at work, ran into each other at the mall. Boom. Like, and it was one of those things where, as I said in the song, my heart was beating fast and I didn't want to speak. In
Mm-hmm.
actuality, my heart did that drop thing that happens when you get like really stunned, or like you like really surprised or whatever. I don't know if that's ever happened to you before or anybody listening, but for me, if I'm like kind of in like a great deal of suspense or like something very surprising, my heart will do this, like it'll just like sink into like what feels like sinking into your stomach, and it dropped, and I was speechless. I couldn't say anything because I was just like, I got, I ain't seen you in a long time, like but everything about you just came rushing back to me all at once, and I'm having a hard time really trying to get over this. And then I built out the story after that with like, a modern day presence. It's like, saw you at the mall. I heard you got a new man, heard you having a baby, that kind of thing. And just kind of built out the narrative as if I was thinking about it in my present day. But yeah, that was an emotion that I held on to from high school. And I was just like, man, I never got over that. And I gotta, I had to write a song about this. So that's where it comes from.
All right. I like that. I like that. I like that. So, is there anybody Mr. Aric B wants to work with in the industry? I don't know, K. Michelle, Monica, Breezy, Chris Brown, Usher. What's up? Is there anybody you would love to work with?
Everybody you just said, K. Michelle, Monica, Usher, Breezy. Tank, John Legend, Musiq Soulchild, Ty Dolla $ign, Teddy Swims, Bruno Mars, Kehlani, her, SZA, Kevin Ross, Dwelle. I would love to work with Dwelle. I just thought about that. Like a lot of D'Angelo, Jill Scott, Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill. I could go on and on and on and on about just everybody. But yeah, man, all of those people I would love to work with. Some rappers too. We could go Jadakiss, we could go Jewels, we could go Jay-Z, we could go Kanye, we could go just some of every. We could go Lecrae, we could go. We can go back to R&B. We can go to The Weeknd. Just it's so much talent, man. We can go Giveon, Justin Bieber, Daniel Cease. Just some of everybody, bro. Just some of everybody. Would love to. Even like oldies, bro. I was Stevie Wonder. I would work with Smokey Robinson right now. Just Babyface, Leon Thomas. I'm getting hyped because I'm thinking about Coco Jones. Like, oh man, like I go crazy.
All right. So it looks like Aric B, his answer is he want to work with everybody. He ain't play. I like that.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we get ready to play a game called Who You Got? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you two artists, whether it be rapper, singer, whatever. You give me who you got between the two. All right?
Okay. All right.
So the first one, we are going to go Miguel and Avant. Who you got?
Oh, wait. Okay. All right. Okay. Dang, that's actually tough. And they so different. Okay. I'm gonna go with Miguel.
Miguel?
I'm gonna go with Miguel.
All right. I don't know. All right. So the next one, Kiki Wyatt and Mary J. Blige. Who you got?
Oh, Kiki all day. Kiki Wyatt. Hands
no love
down.
for Mary J. Blige?
I love Mary J. Blige with my whole heart, but Kiki Wyatt vocally, she is one of the top vocals. She is up there in my top 10 of all time vocals. Honestly, I never get over it. Amazing vocal.
Okay. All right. I like that. So let me give you another one. We're going to go Life Jennings and Tank. Life Jennings and Tank. Who you got?
I got Tank because it's Tank, right? However, Life Jennings is cold. I grew up singing Must Be Nice. I grew up, he got this other song called Brand New. Oh man. Dope stuff, man. Life Jennings he's fire. And I'm mad about what they did with him at NPR. They should have gave him that tiny desk. I got my opinions, but hey, Life Jennings is fire. But I got Tank. I gotta go with Tank. That's my guy. Hopefully meet you, Tank. One day. Yes, sir.
All right. Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and give you Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
And Usher. Who you got?
Oh no, you can't. I thought that's what you was gonna do. The verses that never happened. Okay. All right. Okay. Man, this is not fair, bro. So rightfully so, I have to go with Usher. But I gotta give an honorable. It's like for me, Usher is 1A, Justin Timberlake is 1B, only because Usher was closer to home. I feel like there's just like a little bit of edge for me that Usher has relating to me. But JT, bro, that 2020 Future Sex Love Sounds, Justified, woo, everything with Pharrell, with Timbaland, with James Fox, bro. JT is crazy. He is insane. So yeah, but I gotta go with Usher.
All right, we got one more for you. One more for you. We're gonna go Michael Jackson and Prince. Who you got?
All right, fair. This is the question of our questions. I'm gonna go with Mike. I'm gonna go
Okay.
with
All
Mike.
right. All right.
I'm
All
just,
right. All right.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
You'll go with
There's
the king
no,
of pop.
yeah. I can't. There's no way around it. Just gotta go with Mike. Gotta go with Mike.
Mm. All right. So you were singing at the national anthem at the Yankees game. What's up with that? How surprising was that for you? How nervous were you when you got up there in front of millions of people, thousands of people to sing at the Red Sox New York Yankees baseball game? How was that for Aric B?
Man, what a phenomenal experience, man. It was life changing. It was the confirmation I needed at the time to say, "Oh yes, sir. This is it. This is what you're supposed to be doing." It just reaffirmed me, man. It showed me so much more about, what's possible, what I could do after all of what feels like rejection for so many years. This thing comes around, and it is the thing that, that just solidifies you, and like the faith that you could have in yourself as a vocalist and as a creative man. I can't talk about how amazing that was enough. I will say that I was very nervous leading up until I was nervous when I got on the field. Up until like the day of, I was like fine. I was like, rehearsing, practicing and stuff, and I was also doing weddings, so my voice was kind of gone.
Mm.
I was nervous about that. I was like, dang, am I gonna sound good? So, but I got there, did well. We, sound checked and all that stuff. And when I got on the field during the game, and it's thousands of people in the stadium, I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm about to really sing in front of these people, but I gotta really sing in order for it to. Because if I bomb this, it's no turning back. So I
Right.
stepped out there on the field. They was like, Aric B. And I got up there, and I could feel myself right before my heart did that, like that drop thing again. Right before I got ready to sing, something in me said, "It's now or never. Either you sing your face off right now, or you run." And I was like, "What you gonna do?" So I was like, "Well, I can't run. I'm here now, so I got to sing." So I did, and after the first note came out, the nerves went away, and we did what we had to do.
So let me ask, in that first note, was your eyes closed on the first note? Maybe not the other notes, but the first note. Was your eyes closed on
Yes.
the first note?
My eyes was definitely. If you watch the video, my eyes was definitely closed on that first note. I was like, I just need to start off right. If I start right, it'll be good. But I was like, I got to start right. So yeah, we got
Mm,
that first note out, which was dope.
okay.
Yeah,
Now
man.
you went to Harvard
I
and
did.
studied over there. How was that for you? Going to Harvard and doing music at the same time. How did that kind of maybe shape your skills to who you are now?
Yeah. So I'll say the best thing I think I got from Harvard was definitely networking. I was able to
Mm.
meet some of the craziest creatives I've ever met. Some of them are off doing really incredible things. I've joined some really dope projects as a result of it. So yeah, the networking was definitely a huge asset for me as a creative, as a singer songwriter. I will say that Harvard, in its uniqueness, I won't say that it necessarily gave me the musical opportunities that I was looking for because I wasn't here for music. But it did give me a sense of the world around me and how expansive I could think and imagine, and all the places I could think of myself going. So coming here made me realize, like, oh, I can go sing for the Queen, or I could go, to any venue and sing in any concert hall because I know how it feels to be in those spaces. It's not so abnormal for me to relate to those energies and like that kind of like setting. So I feel like I can step anywhere and sing now because of a place like Harvard.
All right, all right. Shout out to Harvard. Yo, if you are just tuning in, you are tuned in to the Pimp Game Podcast, where we got the one and only Decatur, Georgia's finest. That's right, Aric B. We are here talking about how he began in the choir to working with top-notch producers to singing live at the Yankees game right here on the Pimp Game Podcast. So let me ask you this. In your midst of doing all your singing and things of that nature, I was checking out your site. Man, you are going everywhere. It is packed until May. How surreal is that for you? Because there are a lot of people who sing out here, but maybe they don't have the travel schedule to match their voice. You actually have the travel schedule to match your voice. How surreal is that for you to not only be singing, but doing what you love at the same time and also traveling around the world?
It's honestly just, man, it's a dream. it's the dream I've always wanted. It's what I've always wanted to do, what I've always seen myself doing. And to finally actually be living that out is so crazy. It's so surreal. Just to be going all of the places we've gone, all the places we've been, and what's coming up as a result of like after like pushing out the album and like actually having my own material to cover while I'm out and opening up and doing these shows. It's just phenomenal, man. I remember just a year ago, even I was saying to myself, man, I want to be here, I want to go there, I want to do this, do that, and then look at me now. I'm like, wow, we're actually doing it, and there's people behind, motivating me and join my team and galvanizing and get behind me, trying to really push it out, and not just letting me or requiring me to do it by myself, but it's really like believing in me and taking on that that role and responsibility of just kind of making sure that I stay motivated. So it's a beautiful feeling, man. And if I can say this to anybody out there who also feels like they have a dream in front of them and they're looking for a way to just tap in and get into it, you're not going to start out going where you see yourself going. You're not going to start out automatically just getting there. You got to put in the work, but that first step is so important. I don't care how good it looks. I don't care how bad it looks. Just get started. Once you start, you'll learn everything else on the way. I live by two things now. One of them is that you are the difference between where you are and where you want to be is a conversation. That's my first point. And then the second thing is that every mistake, you can't make any mistakes on the journey because every mistake is actually just a lesson. So whatever you don't do right on the journey, you learn from and you get better and do it better the next time. So with those two thoughts and those two, perspectives, I'm like, I can't lose and I just got to keep going.
Well said. Well said. You can't lose. So let me ask you this. Some of the top-notch R&B artists out there, it looks like they're not coming out with albums like they used to back in the day. What would you say if you could put on your executive hat, maybe your A&R hat, maybe, Mr. Aric B, the executive? What would you do to maybe force these cats to maybe come out with albums every year to give us more greatness?
I would just say, well, I probably wouldn't, push as an executive to make people make music, because what I don't think needs to happen is more music that's just not great. I think there's a certain quality control element to making sure that, music stays consistently good and that the artists are representing themselves well. But I would say find a balance, right? Try and stay consistently working the muscles in order to produce great music, but not gonna put out nothing that's just trash. And I mean, this is something that like Top Dog Entertainment does very well, where they'll wait five years to put out an album on Kendrick and SZA and Doechii, because they have this quality control piece, but they understand the effect of like, okay, if you put out quality music, you can ride on that for a whole year. SZA put out SOS a year and a half ago almost, and she's just now really about to go on a national stadium tour with the same music, that we've been rocking to over a year. So, it works. If you put out quality music, the quality music is gonna last. People will never forget Snooze. She can sing that for the rest of her life, because whenever you hear it, wherever you are, you're gonna remember where you were when you first heard it, and you're gonna forget that it came out 2 years ago, right? So, but she can still ride on that wave and keep singing it. So I definitely think there's a balance there, and especially for me, I think that's how I'd approach it.
So let me ask you this: as an R&B, what is it called? As an R&B student like yourself, who loves the game, so to speak, would you say R&B is dead now, or does it need some life? What would you say about R&B now in today's time?
I think that's an interesting question. I remember this whole wave came up about R&B being dead. I don't think R&B is dead. I don't think it ever died. I think R&B needs a financial boost. I think R&B needs investment. I think R&B is expensive to make when it is done right and done well. It requires live instrumentation and live music and real musicians and just different entities in that way. But I think it just needs the investment. I think it needs the backing. But other genres are much easier to make and create, and the investment is not as much. So it makes sense why a label wouldn't invest as much in an R&B artist as they would a pop artist or hip hop artist, because all you need is a beat machine and maybe like a little tune and some vocals. You're good, and a nice flow with a rap and a good, decent image and a nice character. That's more so on the artist nowadays than it is on the label. But no, I don't think R&B is dead. I don't think it ever died. I just think it just needs a little boost.
Okay, well said, well said. Just needs a little boost. All right. So today's quick topic of the show is Serena Williams at the Super Bowl doing the crip walk. What's up? Did you see that? And how was that for you, looking at Serena Williams do the crip walk? I thought she was doing good, but what is your thoughts on Serena Williams?
Yes, sir. I did. I saw it. I saw Serena doing the crip walk, and it was actually a delight to see, man. It was dope. It was really cool to see. At first I said to myself, I was like, why is she doing the crip walk? Like, I thought she was over Drake. But then my dad was like, do you know what he did to her? So I mean, like, get your look back. It's cool. I'm not judging. But it was cool to see her on the stage. I actually missed her on the stage. I missed her when she was on at the beginning. So I didn't get to see it. I had to go back and watch it. But yeah, shout out to Serena Williams doing her thing.
Okay, cool. Well said, well said. So, any future projects that Aric B got coming up, maybe tours or anything like that we should be aware of moving here now in the future? Any future tours or project for Aric B?
Yeah, so we in conversation with some folks about getting on some tours. We're gonna open up for some folks, for some artists that are well known that you all know, which will be great. We'll get to do some live joints with them. I have a joint project coming out with another brother of mine who's a rapper. We have a joint R&B hip hop project that's actually coming out within the next couple of weeks or so. We're wrapping that project up too. So be on the lookout for that. But all of that will be available on all my platforms, and all the platforms at Aric B Music. So, and you can also find out more information on www.r&bmusic.com.
All right, cool. So, I mean, just in case somebody might have missed it, how do they get in contact with Aric B if they want to work with you? Maybe they want you to write a song for them. They want you to feature whatever, sing at a Nationals game or maybe a football game next year. What's up? How do they get in contact with Aric B?
Yes, sir. Yeah, just you can shoot me a DM at any point. My DMs are open. Not enough. My DMs are available for communication, conversation about work. You can also shoot me an email at aricbmusic. Well, it's aricbmusic@gmail.com. You can shoot me an email there. But yeah, DMs. You can also you can join my mailing list if you want on my website. There's multiple different ways you can reach out to me, but sure, DMs definitely probably work the best.
Okay. All right. So, for that young girl out there looking to be the next Aric B, that young boy out there looking to be the next Aric B, what would you tell them they want to get into the music industry as a singer?
I just say, hone your skills. Don't, there's a scripture about like, don't fret small beginnings. So just because you recording in your room, just because you working, in like maybe not so great studio or whatever, not, the equipment, keep practicing, keep pushing, keep working on your craft, develop yourself. The time and the opportunity is going to come. I promise you, especially if you keep yourself in the right circles, it's not going to pass you by. It's going to show up right on your doorstep. And as long as you're ready for it, you're going to soar. So keep that in mind. Do what you got to do. Keep practicing, no matter who hears you, no matter who tells you that it's not good, no matter who tells you that it is good. Don't settle. Keep practicing, keep learning. Always be a student, and you'll see some crazy stuff happen for you.
All right. I like that. So, for those people out there who've been rocking with you since the choir, your moms, your dad, your grandfather, also working with top-notch producers, touring with many people, the Nationals game, Yankee Stadium, what's up? Any final thoughts for your fans or shout-outs before we sign off on Pimp Game?
I love y'all. Thank you so much. Y'all my day ones, the ones who be rocking with me. All my folks in the Lovers Club, thank y'all so much for being who you are, for supporting me this far. We're going to keep going. We're going to go higher. And it's just going to be love, man. I'm going to keep y'all updated on how we going. It's about to get crazy. 2025 it's that year.
All right. So, it was a good show. Yo, tell everybody who you chilling with.
I'm chilling with Kenny D on the Pimp Game podcast. Y'all know what it is. It's Aric B Music. What's up?
All right, and that concludes our show for this evening. But before I let you go, I'd like to say thanks to all my viewers out there for tuning in. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That's right, you're going to subscribe and make sure you turn those notifications on so when we upload videos, you are the first to get it. And last but not least, we'd like to thank the one and only Decatur, Georgia's finest. That's right, Mr. Aric B, R&B sensation, for blessing us with his presence on the show. All right, see you next time on Pimp Game. You don't want to miss it. Holla.